What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journals, Comics, and Pop Culture. The month of June is winding down, and here we are bringing you the top trending keys for June 2022. Folks, before we get into the video today, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please take some time to do so. I'm here making content almost every single day of the week. Make sure you check out all the links in the description below, including the link to today's sponsor, popculturezone.com, your home for anything comic books when you're doing your online shopping, including CGC slabs and awesome exclusive and incentive variants. All right, and one more reminder, guys, if you're in need of comic book supplies, make sure you check out bcwsupplies.com. Use the code JOURNOS to receive 10% off of your order. This code discount never expires. You can use it as many times as you want. All right, guys, we got 4 books to look at. Let's just get straight into the first book. And guys, these books are on this list for a few different reasons, and we're going to break it down per each book. The first one up here is Batman 423. This is just an iconic McFarlane cover. So this book is on the list simply because of upward trend in units sold over the last couple of months. Really, we had a Chrome variant that was released just a few weeks back that really pushed, I think, folks to go after the original copy. I've been talking about this book for a long time, though, how this is a huge future key, in my humble opinion. I talk about Todd McFarlane, and I think we're not even there yet, but we're going to be there in the near future where we really see his impact, and we see him as what I call the modern day Jack Kirby. And this is just probably one of his most iconic covers of all time. So a lot of upward trending in terms of units being moved. 30% up in June from May and 80% up from April. So we see huge increases there. But let's look at fair market values here. For 9.8, the current fair market value, and again, these are rolling averages that I calculate, 2,487 next to 1 year ago, and I calculated this from about between April and September of 2021. The 9.8 fair market value was about 2,355. Now remember, that was like the peak of the market when so many books, key books, speculation was going absolutely nuts, right? We've seen a bit of a cool off. Now, if you look at the 1 year differentiation, that's a rate of return on investment of 6%. Not much, but it's still up. And I think the thing to focus on here is that while a lot of the market is down, 20 to 30%, and again, it's not that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's ebb and flow. It's a good time for folks to look at books that are down from where they were at a year ago. This book is holding strong, though, and I think that is indicative of what this book is and what it's doing and what it's going to keep doing and what it means for Todd McFarlane. In my humble opinion, of course, right? All right, folks, let's move on to the second book on the list. Now, this is Avengers number 9, the first appearance of Wonder Man. This was trending this month, obviously, because we got an announcement that Wonder Man is coming to the MCU. I did talk about this on my last week's top 10 props or flops. We're going to revisit the numbers a little bit, and I won't talk about it too much, but obviously a huge upward trend in sales of 148% over the last couple of weeks. We saw some high sales in graded books and 8.0s. We had a $1,900 sale once we had that announcement. Then we had a $2,200 sale, but 12 months prior to the spec, there was 4 sales at 1110 rough rolling average. And so you see that this book has jumped quite a lot just simply because of the MCU live action announcement. Let's look at the Raws last week. High Raw. This was about a week and a half ago now when it hit the top 10, $213. And then over the last week, $310. So that's a 46% increase. But you always got to take it into consideration. Average Raws are an average. You take all the Raw books that sold, no matter the grade, you add up the dollar amount sold, and you divide it by units sold. So it doesn't showcase what they're doing in low grade next to high grade next to mid grade. But you get kind of an idea. And with the early Silver Age book like this, you can assume that a lot of these being sold are probably lower grade to mid grade. You probably don't have a lot of high Raws being sold, but there could be an outlier here or there that could really move that average left or right. So again, take it with a grain of salt. But when you add up averages prior to the announcement, and it comes in at 137, you could tell that this book still is moving upward in terms of the dollar value on the market. And while this was already a solid Silver Age key, a legacy run, the Avengers run from the early Silver Age, this is, of course, in my humble opinion, a long-term investment, but I would just be very careful with this book right now with these increased values, because even right now, again, downturn of the market, but people are still going crazy over any type of live action speculation. And I've been honest and said sometimes I feel like it's absolutely out of control. These are huge jumps that happen really fast. If we don't get a casting or more details of the show over the next year, this will probably cool off some and go back down a little bit. And once we get those announcements, they could spike again. They can even spike past what we're seeing them do now. But I'm just very concerned with this lasting, because look at Eternals and how that the sentiment towards that film after it was released and what that did to Eternals #1. I don't use the word crash lightly, but that book crashed. And while I don't see this book ever going down past where it was at before, because it has intrinsic value that already is going to continue to increase over time, over the long term, without any type of movie spec, just because it's a Silver Age key and a Silver Age first appearance. If this show, because we're assuming that it's going to be a Disney Plus show, doesn't pan out, the inflated numbers, and when I say inflated, I'm not saying like it's manipulated or it's not organic. I mean, people are obviously paying these numbers. But when I say inflated, I mean that the increases that we're seeing specifically due to live action hype, all of that can wither away and it could go back down to a new floor and then slowly start trending upward from there. So again, as I always like to say, I'm not here to tell you guys to buy anything. I'm here to give you facts, data, and present my opinion. If you're willing to take the risk when it comes to books that are heavily speculated on, or you're looking to invest in these, you got to be smart in your purchasing decisions and know what you're looking for as a collector. Moving on, though, third book on the list, and this is another one that I talked about on the props or flops again, but just the spot has been moving so much over this last month, so I had to showcase it on this list. This is Spectacular Spider-Man #98, the first full appearance of Spot. Again, upward trend in sales, 145%. About a week and a half ago, that 9.8 high hit 775. Then it dropped off to a 750. But the average fair market value for the last 12 months prior was 387, and the fair market value pre-COVID. And I know a lot has changed in the market, but $38. So this one is very volatile right here. And everything that I just said about Avengers 9 for Wonder Man, this is times 1,000, because it's a Copper Age book. It's a Spider-Man book, which has intrinsic value already. But the Spot was never this popular character that's going to intrinsically, drive value. What's going to drive it more than anything is it's a Spider-Man book with an awesome cover of Kingpin and Black Cat. It's a Copper Age. It's Spider-Man, one of the most popular superheroes of all time. Long term, it's going to keep going up. I mean, if you just take into consideration it aging out and inflation. But we got a high raw hitting 47 and then coming back down to 39. And then looking at what it was doing prior to the announcement, the Spot is going to be showing up in Across the Spider-Verse, the next animated film. And while I'm all on board for those films, I love Into the Spider-Verse. You got to understand that movie spec is out of control right now. It's being extremely over exaggerated. And it's this hyper vigilant attitude that people are coming onto the market and spending their money with when it comes to anything that's optioned or live action or film or whatever. Be very, very careful. Villains already don't pan out when it comes to spec value lasting. Look at Thanos. Thanos was probably the biggest character that we saw on screen over the last 15 years and played the biggest role in the biggest buildup of superhero sci-fi cinema. And even when his arc was done after Endgame, his first appearance, which is the early Bronze Age huge key, jumped down, I think, I don't remember. It jumped back almost to where it was at before the movie hype. Now, it has started increasing again because that's what these types of books do, regardless of movie hype. The Spot as a villain, I mean, look, that film can do something good with them and make it exciting. And hey, maybe the Spot will be somebody that we recognize a little bit more moving forward. But guys, I just be very, very careful with this book. Would I pay $600, $700 for a 9.8 of this book? Absolutely not. Would I even pay $400? Nope. So that's just my opinion, though, guys. That's just my opinion. So we got one more book to talk about today, but before we get into that one book, I want to take less than 60 seconds to talk about today's sponsor, PopCultureZone.com. PopCultureZone.com is an online shop focusing on hot new comics, including exclusive and incentive variants, CGC graded comics, and tons of other inventory, including pop culture toys and other collectibles, all at low and competitive prices. PopCultureZone.com ships all over the US, and if you are buying raw comics, they offer flat rate shipping of only $4.99. That's right, $4.99. Absolute craziness, right? And there's no taxes included, excluding New Jersey. Pop Culture Zone is also on eBay, where they hold a 100% positive feedback rating with over 8,000 completed transactions for this year alone. Make sure to check out the link to their website below, as well as their eBay link, so be sure to give them a follow there as well. All right, everyone, let's get into the last book of today, and it is Uncanny X-Men 50, and of course, another month where Marvel just dominates the market. So this book is on this list simply because of record high sales. So, you got movie spec, live action spec. You have units being sold because of, a multitude of reasons. This book is hitting record high sales. Look at what it did in June. This all happened in June. Record high 9.8 sale of $5,760. Record high, excuse me, guys, that's supposed to say 8.5. There's no 9.5 grade. I do apologize. But a record high in an 8.5 went for $2,040. Record high in a 6.5 went for $455. And we also had a record high raw of $750. So this is the second appearance of Polaris in her first cover appearance. So why the record highs? One thing that blows my mind, though, is that we are in a market right now where some things are trending downward, even big keys. The economy is crazy right now. I myself, I don't have money to spend right now because, I'm putting out hundreds of dollars in gas, a week, literally, because of $7 a gallon gas here. Chicken and food is like more than double it was a year ago. It's absolutely nuts. But look, people are still spending money on comics, and they are spending money on this one. You got an awesome character. You got an amazing, amazing cover. It's a first cover, even though it's her second appearance. So we know how first covers play on the market. They are desirable. Steranko doing his magic for a Silver Age key book. I can't chalk it up to one thing, but I will say this. The X-Men are coming, and I've been saying this for over a year, close to 2 years. The X-Men are coming, and we know very little detail about how they're going to show up, but we've had hints from Kevin Feige and other executives and players in Marvel Studios talk about how it's going to look different than the Fox films and characters and so forth. I think they're going to bring these characters in different ways. And we're going to look for characters that we haven't really seen before. And we haven't seen them. And, I know we have the Gifted show and everything, but we didn't really see Polaris in the Fox franchises. So I definitely think Polaris can show up. I think Polaris can tie into Wanda very well, too, for however they're going to play that. If they actually bring Wanda's backstory up and say that she was a mutant all along, I think that can definitely happen. So I would assume that maybe people are really looking at this book right now that saying that, look, it's already, you look at the intrinsic values of it being a Silver Age X-Men key, Steranko art, and you add on the fact that this is a character that could show up sooner than later in the MCU, and people are putting their money to it. So that's what I feel. That's my perspective on it. But I'd love to know what you guys think. But it's pretty awesome and crazy at the same time to see what this book has been doing on the market over the last month. So, folks, those are the books today for the month of June. Can't wait to do one for July. We do this every single month. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below as well. But before we go, I want to give a huge thank you and shout out to all of my Patreon members for supporting me for another month. Tread the Shipping Guru, John Rowe, Nexus Cowboy, Verified, Kyle, Justin, Jordan, X11, Shelby, Rich, Tony T, Larry, Michael, Alvin, Fletch Comics, Pedro, Peter, Joe, Sagi, Dan, and Simon. Thank you guys so much. I got to do the drawing for this month's giveaway, which was a Batman 100, the negative space variant. I can't wait to pick a winner for that, so be on the lookout for that. If you guys are interested in becoming a Patreon member, that link is below as well. And a huge shout out to all my YouTube channel members. I do have a big X-Men lot that I'll be drawing as well for the month of May giveaway to all of my YouTube channel members as well. So thank you all for another month of support, and to all my new channel members, thank you for being here as well. And of course, if you guys are interested in supporting me here as a YouTube member, it's only $1.99 a month. You can click that join button for more info as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be well, and until next time.